Hello, this is Ross's Movie Reviews, and I am going to do my review today on Star Trek the Motion Picture, and Star Trek was well, it started out as a television series in the late 1960s. It was not as big a commercial success as they thought it was going to be. It wouldn't be a big commercial success until later on. Until later on, more into the second and third seasons. The television studios decided not to pick it up for a third season, but we didn't hear anything until later on from any of the studios, except for Paramount. They did kind of do this idea of making a second Star Trek series, but that never came to light. I don't know why, but it just didn't. They kind of threw it away for gave it its reruns for 10 years or more, 15 years or more, and in 1978 they decided, well, from the success of Star Wars, they decided, well, how about we go ahead and bring this to the big screen. And this is what we have, voila, Star Trek the Motion Picture. Now, there are some good sides to this, and there are some downsides to this. The good side to it is stuff that you have all the actors that you know and love: William Shatner, James Doohan, Nichelle Nichols, Leonard Nimoy, Walter Koenig, all the actors that you know and love, and the thing is that they were trying to make this, they really didn't care about, the overruns and the costs back then, because I think, as you can see, they spent a lot of money on this movie. In fact, it held the Guinness Book of World Records as the highest amount of money in that time of spent on a movie. So what you have is a movie that showcases pretty much what Star Trek can do on the screen. As far as storyline and all that other important stuff, well, this movie is sort of lacking. The storyline goes that, the Enterprise is called to a mission when this gigantic cloud is destroying everything in its path. The Klingons first encountered it, and the Enterprise is called out on this mission to confront this cloud. And what they find is that there is a ship in this cloud. Probably one of the best model making I've ever seen in this movie. I mean, look at this. It's like, look at the Enterprise. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. Probably one of the most gorgeous models I've ever seen. That is the high point of this movie. And in fact, it's so sad. That is almost what takes over the whole entire movie, is just the model making in this. And the thing is that they don't showcase really anything else. The actors do a good job, but they're overshadowed by the special effects. They just take too much in this movie, and it could have been so much better than what it was. And when they finally approached this cloud that's named V'ger, they somehow you know, find a life form that takes over one of their crew members that was played by the late Parisi Kambata, a girl that was an Iranian actor. I don't know if she was Iranian or Israeli. I think she was Israeli or something. But they take her over, and what happens next is kind of like a spiritual. This is more of a spiritual Star Trek movie. That's exactly what I would call it. It's more spiritual, you know. It has a lot of spiritual things in it, you know. Belief of something greater than yourself, a belief of something that is a higher power, a higher calling. Because you hear the word creator in this movie. You hear the words, you know, the maker and God and stuff like that a lot in this movie. It's the only movie where you actually see Spock crying, for God's sake. You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, Spock is crying in this movie, and he's connected with this alien and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. Really, I really have never really gotten 100% what this plot is, but I know that's pretty much the overtone of what this plot is that they confront an alien life form, and then it's like, you know, they have to try to stop it from destroying Earth. So, what I can cover in this first part is that, like I said, the good side is that this was a good start to Star Trek. You know, it was a good beginning to this Star Trek movie. But when you see the 2008 movie, it almost completely erases this movie from existence, because that should have been the first movie. That should have been like the first Star Trek movie out of the whole entire series, because it went back to the beginning. You know, the 2008 movie. I mean, the 2009 movie, excuse me. Pardon my correction there. The 2009 movie went back to the beginning. This didn't do that. It just kind of left off from where the series went. And, you know, I really don't know what to really make of this, other than they couldn't really figure out anything else to do other than to showcase what Star Trek really was and the spirit of Star Trek and stuff like that. Didn't happen. More so happened in Star Trek 2, where that really got the spirit of Star Trek, you know, because the Wrath of Khan would improve much more on what Star Trek was capable of in the movie theaters, and a much more broader and bigger movie than this, as far as, you know, what it's supposed to entail and stuff like that, and just brilliant, much more brilliant than this movie. But I'm still going to go back to the point that this was a good start for Star Trek. It was a good start, and I think that the one thing, you know, the good thing that would probably be the most positive thing for it is just that it did have incredible special effects that still stand up today. I mean, 30 years later, and they still stand up today, you know. I mean, you know, these are just absolutely amazing special effects. And yes, we're talking about this 30 years old this movie is. And it's just incredibly special effects. They just stand up to the test of time. And it's, you know, you can't grasp how much money they could spend on this movie when everything is there. There are some movies out that don't even show everything on the screen, all the money that they use. So all the money that they use in this movie is there with the special effects. Every single bit of it. All right. So I'm concluding this in saying that this is, you know, a very good showcase movie on Star Trek. And in part 2, I will be sharing on what my thoughts were when I first saw this movie, and what it relates to
May I ask why?
the Star Trek continuum and the improvements that they could have made. Thank you for listening.